My name is Aniekeme and I am a Wharton MBA 2020 grad. And for the purpose of this video, that's really all you need to know about me. So it's interview season for business school, and I typically get a bunch of messages and I have calls with people who are going through the interview process. And it's been happening since I started at Wharton and even now that I've graduated. And so I figured I'd just make a video that I could refer people to instead of having all of these calls. So a couple disclaimers before I get started. 1, this video is not sponsored by Wharton. 2, I do not work for Wharton, nor have I ever worked in the admissions office at the Wharton School. 3, all of the information that I'm sharing is relevant as of November 2020. If you're watching this at a later date, things might have changed, who knows. And 4, all of the suggestions that I give are my opinions. So while this video is Wharton interview specific, I have another video that talks about the MBA overall, kind of thinking about whether it's worth it, how to think through that, making that decision, and I will link it so you can go look at that if you're interested. Okay, so on to this video. So you've received an interview invite from the Wharton School. Congratulations, you're in great company. You should be very proud. What exactly is what's an interview process like? So there's a team-based discussion and then there's a one-on-one interview. So the team-based discussion takes 35 minutes and then you have about a 10 to 15 minute one-on-one interview with an admissions fellow. In the team-based discussion, you're in a group of 5 to 6 other prospective students who are also hoping to get into Wharton. You're given a prompt, which is confidential, so I won't go into details of any of the previous prompts that have been shared. But you're given a prompt a week or 2 in advance of your interview, and you're supposed to come up with a proposal that you show up to this interview with, this discussion to, and you talk to the other people about. And it's basically the aim of the TBD is to come to a consensus as a team on a plan of action based on the prompt. So at Wharton, a lot of things that we do are team-based. You have a learning team that consists of 6 people and you're doing projects with them in essentially almost every core class for the first year. And the TBD is set to mimic the sort of team-based interactions that you'll have at school. So it's a great way for the admissions committee to see how collaborative you are, how you contribute, and how you work in a team. So that's sort of the goal of the TBD and a little bit about what it looks like. So you have the 6 people in a room, and then you have 2 admissions fellows who do not participate, but they're there and they're evaluating everyone else. Now, if you're watching this in COVID times, your interview might be virtual, but a lot of the things that I'm going to share here still apply because it's still the same team-based discussion. It's just happening on a virtual platform now. So now I'm going to share 5 tips to help you ace the team-based discussion. 1, memorize your 60-second pitch. So each person in the team-based discussion is going to have 1 minute to pitch whatever their idea is in response to the prompt that was given. My advice is to memorize whatever it is you want that 60-second pitch to be. And here's why. If you're able to just deliver it, it gives you so much confidence for the rest of the interview process. And you don't have to memorize the rest of the details of your proposal, but you should know it in detail in case your idea is the one that the team kind of builds a consensus around, because then you'll sort of be leading or driving that discussion, or you should be able to have answers to questions that might come up based on the idea that you've shared. But I will say, memorize your 60-second pitch and come ready and confident to share it. 2, know your team. So everyone who's in this interview is a potential classmate. But more than that, they're people you're having a conversation with. So when people are introducing themselves, you should pay attention, ideally write their names down so that during the course of the conversation, when you're referring to someone else's idea, you can call them by name, or if you're wanting to actually ask someone something directly, you're able to say their name. It just shows a lot of respect for the people, and it's something that is a good quality to have overall when you're having conversations, right? The third is to claim your contribution. Third is to claim your contribution. So everyone on a team plays an important role. What is the role that you are going to be playing on this team? Do you know it? And are you bringing it, to bear during this discussion? So there's people who will keep the time and they just make sure that everything happens according to schedule, or that whatever is supposed to be delivered at the end of the 35-minute period gets delivered. If that's you, just be aware that that is the role that you're playing. There's people who synthesize what everyone else is saying, and so we make sure that everyone is on the same page. The goal, or like the key takeaway from this tip, is just being aware of the type of thing that you're doing during the interview. And this will come up again at the end when we talk about the one-on-one interviews. So the fourth tip is to look out for others. So there might be people on your team who are either a little quiet, a little shy, they're getting spoken over. Try to be that person who draws them in and brings them out of their shell. You might say, Melody, I'm real curious to hear what you have to say about this. It's always nice to be the person looking out for other people, because even though you're all gunning the same things, helping others is always a good team skill to have. It just looks really good if you're the person who is looking out for other people on the team. And then the fifth tip that I would share is to finish strong. So at the end of the day, remember what the outcome of the TBD is supposed to be. It's some sort of consensus around whatever the prompt is. And so regardless of how fruitful and energizing the conversation is, try to always keep that in mind and try to focus in on, by the 35-minute period, okay, have we accomplished all the things that we're supposed to have accomplished? And is it good to go? Are we done? Finish strong. Okay, so I shared 5 helpful tips, and I'll say one thing that you should please not do, whether you're having this interview in person or virtually, is do not come with any prepared materials. Like, don't come with like a slide deck to give to people, because that is not the point of this. If you're doing this virtually, don't assume you're going to share your screen, because that's also not the point. You're not there to give a presentation, you're there to have a conversation, to have a discussion. So please don't come with any prepared material. Okay, so you've done the TBD, that's done. 35 minutes, good to go. Now you have the one-on-one interview with the admissions fellow, and that's usually 10 to 15 minutes. And because you've been such great, viewers and are curious about this and have stalked through, I'll give you one more bonus tip. Tip number 6, come prepared with questions for the admissions fellow. So after the AF, admissions fellow, asks you a few questions, they're going to give you the opportunity to ask them questions. And it's really important to show your interest and your curiosity, not only about the AF, but about Wharton. And so come prepared with questions that are thoughtful, hopefully not anything that you can find online by a simple search, but really just show that you are taking some more effort and you really care and really want to be a part of the Wharton community. So without giving away any confidential information about my prompt or anything like that, I'll just say I thoroughly enjoyed the TBD. I did feel like it was a fun conversation, and helpfully the dynamic in my team was quite pleasant, and yeah, I thought it was such a fun time. The interview that I had with the admissions fellow, afterwards I was asked some of the basic questions that if you are not prepared for, you probably should not be interviewing. So they're pretty straightforward questions that you be asked. You will potentially be asked what role you played in the TBD, so just referring back to what I mentioned, I think on tip number 3. So just being aware of the type of person that you are on a team is important. This was a super quick video. To wrap it up, I just want to say, have fun with it. I mean, at the end of the day, we are living on a blue planet spinning in the middle of nowhere. It's all fine. It's all good. If you want to continue to have this conversation one-on-one, or if you have questions about your career or life, you can contact me at aniekeme.com/coaching, or via any of the social media or contact information at the bottom of this video. So I hope that this was helpful in some way, and let me know in the comments if you have any follow-up questions. I'll be happy to answer to the best of my abilities. All right, thank you.